Okay. Oopsie daisy. We now have audio intact. Okay, so now that I believe we have audio going, we got the video going, I will try to get into another table. Maybe. Oh boy. It just works. Fantastico. All right. We're in business. 2 tables. Hunkering down. Yes, Matthew Kagan. Queen Jack will be a defend. Queen Jack is just an easy call. This turn won't be raising really anything. We do have the Queen of Spades, which is pretty nice. But yeah, just calling. Thank you, Stewie Unger Garments. I mean, we pretty much have to raise because we have the nuts, right? But we'll choose small. It'd have to be a little crazy to go 3 streets with less. But maybe to have a set of aces or something. Alright, now I got the chat in my view. We will flat the 7s on the button. Over here on table number 2, we'll flat the King Jack suited. Villain checked with the 7, so we will check behind on King Jack Deuce. Turn pairs the Jack. Villain donks half pot after flatting the small blind. So the 7s, we're conceding. We made a straight. I think we're just gonna bet big. I don't think the button ever checks back 8 Queen Jack. Multi-way, I don't think the 3 seed ever checks back King Jack or Queen Jack, so this is like just a pretty clear and easy value bet. I don't expect the 2 seed to ever raise. Looks like games might be pretty good on this beautiful summer Saturday. Queen nine's a little loose. Little loose. For those of you watching the stream today, we're going to be having a Hole Cards Up hand review webinar on Monday with me and private CBG coach Shu. 5 p.m. EST. We'll ISO this limper. Boy, oh boy. Too spicy, too spicy. Do cash players ever, gentlemen's agreement, decide to chop if the board is a straight like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to avoid having to pay higher rate for a chop? Does this ever happen live? I have never seen it happen live, Mr. Unger Garment. Never seen it happen. Yeah, just gonna likely triple here on the Jack 10-3. Okay, or we'll just make a pair. Now our hand is good enough to check behind. We are calling in the big blind on the other table. We actually got a relatively decent flop over there. I think we will value bet 50% there. Over here, we will check. And we have an ISO over here. I think I'm just going to go like, it's a really good board for them to c-bet, them not c-betting. Yeah, it makes me feel like they have some kind of bluff catcher, maybe ace-x. And, well, the plan was to go big bet, but now I believe we just check. And over here we ISO'd this hand, we're just going to check. check back. And I believe we just have to check. Maybe we can bet tiny for value. We'll see. There we go. Over here, we overbet turn, villain called, and now they overbet river on the 4 flush. What bluffs do they have? They need to be turning ace X into a bluff. Ace of hearts and offsuit hands. So ace, deuce, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9 would be those hands. That's not that many combos. Yeah, so I guess I'll call. And there's the ace 5. I think ace king and ace queen with a heart may start by c-betting flop. I mean, I guess they could check, but that's like 7 or 8 combos there, and yeah, just we're getting a little bit worse than 2-1 due to their overbet, so pretty much obligated to call the river with the queen. The problem with chopping on a straight board to not pay rake would be that you can simply have an 8 or a 9. Like, kind of, there's still poker to be played. I think the better, the more obvious one is when the board, like, runs out quads with an ace or something, or a straight flush or a royal. Broadway. In which case, I think that most players don't bet. Well, the plan would have been pretty nice had we faded the 4 flush, but what can you do? Bottom pair after the ace pairs, like, yeah, villains betting half pot, but we have a pair and we're gonna call. And we'll call the river bet too if they decide to bet. Ooh. The old pot size bet, eh? This is close. They're clearly polarized. I guess. I'm not sure. Oh, I guess we can flick it in. I guess polarized equals. They got some good hands in there too. What did villain have on the king queen hand? They had king 8 off. ace 10 is my 4-bet, and so we do it. Hooray. We have the 8, we have ace jack over here. Everybody folded with the 8, so will not be, well, everybody folded with the 8s, and then I get 8s again. I could go a number of different ways here. I think the ace high could be the best hand. We could also go blasty mode. Don't love the 9. I think this is where we shall bet. The 9 just, yeah, gives them more pairs and makes me a little wary that they didn't bet. I think calling is versus a bet on the river with ace high there is probably pretty reasonable. However, once they check 3 times, like I just don't want to lose to a pair, so we'll go for it. Stu, I don't really have time to watch poker coaching content. Yeah, I'm raising my wolves and analyzing lots of hands and lots of data. So, don't have time to watch vlogs, don't have time to listen to podcasts, don't have time to, yeah, do anything outside of my own sphere of my own little world. Although I have heard one of my students raves about Bert in the MTT world. Again, I don't play many tournaments, so I don't consume a lot of tournament content, but yeah. Good old Bert Stevens. Let's try it again. I don't think I will see bet this board. 4 straight. I think I'm gonna go big. This will be our degree all-in moment, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Need a chip, doctor? And we just have another 4-bet with the kings. Just 4-bet the 5 seat with the ace-10 off. Top set is pretty good. I believe we will check. Probably. I mean, it's depending on the turn card. I think if the turn card's like a 9 or 10 or queen, then I'll probably bet. But a rainbow 5, I believe we're just going to go to check down city. The river, I think the river we may 2x jam. It's hard for them to have like fair amount of bluff catchers. I'll have to think about this spot because it's a little interesting. I may just check the river too. What could they bluff with? I don't have many triple checks, but top set is probably going to be one of them on this board. It's hard for them to have good bluff catchers and do need some kind of hand to check 3 times, then be able to defend against big river bets. And I believe top set fits the bill there. What kind of wolves? That's my Coaching for Profit program that I'm running. Mr. C. James. Flatting like 10s through 7s. Well, Dean, they can have other things when they're just calling on the 4th straight. They're betting on the 4th straight. Now that's a horse of a different color, as they say. We will start by betting here with the 7s on monotone. King 9 will be a defend facing min. With overcard backdoor facing a small bet. We'll defend. And that there is a small wager. Really good card for bluffing potential if they don't bet the turn. Oh, we rivered a 9. Now I get to bluff catch. We have a flush draw on the other table in a limped pot against the 2 seat in the 5 seat. We win here, haha. We have flush here, haha. I think I'm going to go for check raise on the flush completer. Would like to play for 3 bets if possible, considering we have what is a good hand, known as a good hand. Villain betting like 70% pot. I mean, they can have straights, they can have 2 pair. They could have smaller flushes. They could just have a hand that wants to bet and fold to a raise. And the A7 O's. Yeah, Mr. Kagan. Matthew Kagan says regarding the top set, poker coach told him once, when you ask yourself, what can they call me with, and are tempted to check, usually bet. People call with things you wouldn't have guessed at smaller stakes. It's probably a good heuristic. But I think a lot of it depends on like whether you're in or out of position. And battling against capable opponents, I think that you do need to have some stronger hands in your triple check range. And Kings just fits the bill, being top set. If you always bet Kings, if you always bet your sets on the river, what do you have when you check 3 times? You know, you've got queens, maybe a hand like ace jack off or something if you 4-bet that. Then you probably have like ace queen, maybe tens. So you know, facing 2x rip, do need to have some hands that can call. And I think, yeah, I think kings is like the best. I mean, aces, you probably want to bet. Ace king, you probably want to bet to try to get some value out of villain's king X. Woohoo! Look at this guy. I mean, Queen Jack calls a small bet, Dean, but like they certainly have hands that they can call with. I don't think that's like really at the crux of the issue, right? It's not like I'm worried about like basically my preference would be to play for all the money when I have top set. So like you can get one small bet out of like Queen Jack, Ace Jack, those type of hands. You're probably gonna get like a 30%er, like a 30% c bet on the flop. But I would rather have some of their lower equity hands with possibly blockers, 10s and 9s, 2x rip the river. I think that's just obviously way more beneficial for kings to maximize value. So like even though, yeah, it was a $400 pot and we could make like 10 big blinds or so, maybe 15. I definitely like them being able to put in like a 2x rip with some of their lower equity hands. If they have like a set, if they have 2 pair, those type of hands, then that's kind of a wash, right? Like that doesn't really matter because at some point they're going to put the money in for us when we have top set. So really by checking, we're targeting their lower equity hands in the range. The downside is, their bluff catchers could just check down. And they will a decent amount of the time. Another thing that can happen too, villain had ace jack, right? So like they can improve to a jack on the turn. If villain has 10s or 9s, they can make a 10 or a 9 on the turn and would just fold to a flop c-bet. So checking also gives them a chance to improve. I also think that a lot of their straight draws are going to bet at some point, probably the turn after I check twice. So yeah, all in all, I'm actually pretty okay with how that hand went down. What's up, Paul Hernandez? How are you, sir? Table 1 facing Mr. Limper. We will invest 5 big blinds here with the queen and jack and then kind of go from there. Flopping top pair, we kicker. We're just going to check. I believe we check on the 3 flush now. And facing half pot, we're just going to call. So flop, check, turn, bet. Debating on the river donk. think I'm gonna go for the river half pot. Oofta. Oofta. We're in the 2 seats dungeon. There's no 4-bet boards that I range bet out of position. Probably not. I tend to have lots of strategies for each board and each category of hand. So, you know. Maybe something like, like a small paired board, 4-4 deuce or something. Here we go again. Hey Paul, so you would like to know one of the best games besides the Cash Game Masterclass? I think may need to. I don't understand the question. I'm guessing you're saying best cash game course, but correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know. Yeah, so blocking the straight. We're just gonna go bonanzas here. And that's a good turn card. 560. Yeah. Well, best of luck to us. Let's hope the Undertaker doesn't take us under again. But we'll buy 1,000. Woohoo! Calling all pocket pairs, facing a 3-bet. We will fold to the C-bet. No quads. Thankfully. Eight, 9 off is a pretty easy call on the flop. On the king turn, I feel, yeah, just have to bet the river with our 9 high and minimal hope. I was gonna probably check raise the turn if villain bet on the king. I think villains tend to overstab on overcards. And we get grimmed, and such is life on the World Wide Webs. I believe thus far we're stuck around 400. Tried to make a fair recreational player fold a straight, apparently. Doesn't tend to work out well. We shall open the queen 10. All in over at this table. Looks to be a pretty meaty one. Don't know that I'll be able to look up the action because I just got moved over here. And somebody just got paid. If anybody was in Cherokee last week, I was there. Played some tournament poker. Cashed in the main event. Typical tournament things. Close enough to smell 350K. Left with only the smell of 350K. Smells nice. I can attest. We could reasonably flat ace-jack on the button, I believe, but it's close. Pretty close. Small blind looks fairly squeezy, but small sample size, hard to really tell very much from, 73 hands. Well, look at us over here. We're 15, 10, 3.4. I believe we have ourselves a wreck. I'd rather not make a pair. Rather not make a 9. Then I can just go bet. But I guess now I can check down. Woohoo! Okay, I would rather make a pair. Just kidding. Although, maybe they call bet. Less stressful making a 9, I guess. I do want to make a note of that because I can't type a B, it must be some hotkey. Let's say small verse gig. There we go. Everybody can understand that. Small verse gig, right? I don't know if that means that villain is quite passive. I don't know if it means that they have some sort of limp raise strat from the small blind. Either one are entirely possible. It's hard to say for sure. Well, now that they're open limping, it's probably more likely that they're just very passive. Limp fold. Decent indicator, I believe. 9 shall be a 3-bet if we have a chance. And we do. Boom, look at that. 15, 11, 6.5. One more preflop opening. We can call ourselves not a nit. Did I play live cash after tourney? Well, I did, but not in the way that you might suspect. It was a wolf retreat out there, so the guys were messing around, and I went to go talk to them. They were like 4 of them playing a 1-2. So I strapped in with the guys, got on the list, hit that 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, or 1, 3, 6, 12, 24, 48. We got the 48 straddle on. I think my hourly there was 500 an hour. Played for about an hour and went to go sweat my guy who is still playing down. Wasn't really in the live cash mood in Cherokee. More in the fellowship mood. We have 2 passive players over here, which is good. It's good. Mr. Buddy that grimmed me left, and I got a good seat. Now I got aces. We'll size up because of the limper. Generally, we'd be going like 110. Nice. Here with SPR2. Oh boy. We actually have 2 things happening at the same time. Over here, we flatted. This player flatted. Who cares? Who cares? We flopped a set, but I think we're just gonna check and 2x rip if we make it that far. Gave them plenty of chances to put money in for value, and now we're just gonna put it in ourselves. No, the notes don't say, Dean. They're like a Etch-a-Sketch. A6, we're certainly going to call. We have the small blind in play. Who's now in here? Trying to get a family pot going. Come on, 6. Get in here. Don't be the black sheep. Like 2. If the 1 seat bets, it would be quite a strong range that would fire. And just checking here. Must check. If it checks to me again, then I will check again. I think. Should I bet? Hard to find five-way solvers. But I think I will. Facing double check and 2 weak players in here. I think the 6 and the 1 likely don't have very strong hands at all. So really just got to fade these 2 people. And now we have a situation where I get to overbet rip again against the same player. I just did it to second hand in a row. Best of luck. Guess I'll reload just in case. Would much rather have it on the second one than the first one, but phew. Sweats are the spice of life. Three betting kings versus blind for some obvious reasons. Namely, kings is it's a good hand. Blind versus blind is going to be the small blind open is the widest opening formation, so the corresponding 3-bet is very wide as well. So the small blind should have a pretty wide 4-betting range, which sets itself and a really wide continuing range once they open and get 3-bet. So it should just be 3-betting your value, blind versus blind. Expecting that, yeah, you're at the top of your range, you can get action. Very easy to get action, so I think there are spots to slow play pre, but generally when SPR is lower, much lower. And generally like when you're in position too. We are officially breaking even now. Ace Queen. We're going to start by checking. This hand is just, that's a good hand. And on the king, we're just going to check it down, most likely win. And call. Guess I fold the a6. I think the 5 seat is a weaker player, so I would like to get in there, but they don't seem to be v-pipping a ton, unlike the 3 seat here. This is like a super loose to ISO, but we'll do it. Actually, we'll do it just fine. We're going to go 5x. I guess we could go 4x. Either one going to be okay. If we get 3-bet, it's not the end of the world. Gut shot with overs. I believe we'll start by checking this flop. May do some things like calling the turn if they bet, and then betting the river. Can also just go for the river 1-bet. lots of options on the table. Now we'll just bet 70%. We fully realized our equity, and it wasn't much. Nice. Nice call by the ace high there. I think that's a worthwhile investment. Creates a little doubt. I tend to be spicy, Dean. Oh. Definitely starting out by calling here with the bottom or second pair. Facing the big turn bet. We're just going to fold. Even though we do have a gut shot there with our pair, the gut shot is fairly obvious. As a 4 straight, so being out of position is unhelpful. This is no, come back, friend. See, James asks if I bet sports at all. No, not really. The odd thing here or there, messing around, maybe UFC night or something to get a sweat going if NBA finals or something like that, but generally very, very, very rarely. 4 is not ultra exciting, but we do have kings. Jack 10-9 with kings, not a board I'm going to c-bet. Would be c-betting something like 2 pair plus on Jack 10-9. Actually, maybe not even that. Maybe fully checking range here, or just limiting bets to like ace queen, king queen. Do not want to open the action on the river there with a set on a 4-liner. Quick little plug for Monday. Poker coaching webinar with CBG private coach Shu. Shu's the man who has taken over the private cash game coaching side from myself. I'm now focusing fairly exclusively on the CBG Wolves. I do have a few courses that I'm working on, but working quite slowly. Deuces here is a fun hand to have. Let's flop a set, and that's not a set. Deuces sometime loses. On this board, I don't even think I can peel one. I would be way happier peeling one with Queen 10, Jack 10, Queen Jack off. Four straight, and the passive fish is overbetting, and the other one is jamming. That seems like they both have a straight. You both gotta have a straight, right? Maybe the 75 is thinking about calling with just a random 5. What? What just happened? They had an ace. A pair of aces they had. I don't understand. understand. Guess it was time for dinner. Very odd. We're here. We're in a 3-bet pot. Since we can't get any action at the other table, I believe this is the same villain that I 3-bet last time when I had kings. And he still folds, or she. They still fold. For those of you keeping track at home, we're winning 13 big blinds thus far. The first third of this monthly poker coaching Plain Explain. I'm Coach Brad Wilson. Founder of Chasing Poker Greatness and the Chasing Poker Greatness podcast. Dean says that he likes me and Shu talking out hands. Thank you, Dean. Appreciate it. What just happened on this table? Number 2. And raise. Queen 8 off. I believe we will defend. It's a little loose. Queen high on ace king board. Can have some showdown. We will check. I would prefer we check down. And we'll just fold to that. King 5 versus 9s. On a king 9-5 flop. And that's a pretty good flop. Pretty bad flop, depending on who you are. And I'll recap this hand too. Not sure. What went on? And we'll 3-bet this guy for the 3rd time. Blind versus blind. Battle. What the what? I'm like the firmest believer of them all to never or very, very rarely fold ace king off pre, but I think this is the one. I would have definitely ripped first to 5, but like, yeah, I just don't think I get to call all in. Yeesh. Wow. Maybe I do deserve the 17-14, 12.5 pre-flop stats, folding ace king pre. Just don't think ace king has enough equity there. Facing the cold 5 rip, like that's a big number. 5. think it's likely that, you know, we can be chopping some, but actually they're just going to have, they're not going to have any sort of flatting range, so they're just jamming there. I don't think they're jamming jacks. Queens is iffy. I'm on the fence. Well, wonder what I do with queens. Yeah. Yeah. We'll 3-bet versus cutoff open. And fold this combo versus a 4-bet. Boy. The Jack-9 suited facing cutoff. I think we're just gonna put more money in. Have some depth here, but preference would be to 3-bet. And this is just a check with my hand. Actually, good small bet. Could go either way. We have the jack, so we block some of their gut shots. I think it's hard for them to go 3 streets. Here we have the jack blocks their gut shots, the 9 blocks their middle sets. They do have bottom set. Pretty hard for them to go 3 streets with value. I think betting small just could be the higher EV route. The king pairing, I mean, some strange things could happen. I think I'm going to call the turn and probably jam if they go bet, bet, bet. I think having a 9 is good to jam facing bet, bet, bet. I think having a 9 is good to raise here, actually. We'll just rip it. We have ace king. We have aces. Like, you open the door. So I'm going to go through it. Villain opened min. We called. Could have 3-bet. Probably should have 3-bet, but yeesh. I've seen better runouts. It does hurt a little on the inside to fold out ace king, to fold ace king pre-Dean. It really does. I think the best hand that villain can have on the river when they check back the turn would be like king queen. That hand where I check ripped. I think king queen's they got a tough road. They're especially blocking the straight draws that I could have in my range if I decide to check all those. So I think the ace on the river is just not a great card for them to bet and open the action, open the door, as I said. And we'll 3-bet this king 9 if we can click the buttons. Ace high mono. We'll start with a check. Have a lot of natural checks on this board. Kings, queens, jacks with a club. Ace X with a club. Believe this board's going to be played fairly passively all the way down. Villain bets the turn. Probably would call. Three, 4. We will start by c-betting our flush draw on 7-7 deuce. If we get check raised, it's a very easy continue. This villain has yet to fold to a c-bet. So we shall call and see what develops. And what developed was the overbet. The turn. Okay. And I will fold my flush draw. Ace 10 once again is my 4-bet. Bringing it today, Dean. Bringing it today. Actually, can never know what the day might entail. Today's just been a day with bluffs. Bluffing opportunities. We'll be c-betting this board at a very high frequency. King small, small. And checking back turn. I think villain can have like 4-5, 4-6. On the ace. I don't know if I should bet this or not. Actually, I probably should. I think it's expected to bet. They could have ace 4, ace 5. We have like king X of spades that we would bet flop check back turn with, so we are protected with nut flushes. poker gods have put us in some spots. Some bluffing spots. I think I need to get myself some green juice. I don't think we have any weak players on any tables. Which makes me sad. Also, my table's a little off in the overlay, and that makes me sad too. I shall get my green juice at this intermission. Ace queen suited is a good hand. Unruly table taking over my space. Here on table number 2, we had a UTG open, c-bet, flop, check back, turn. And pausing all current programming, we have an actual hand over here. 200 bigs deep, facing a relatively tight opponent. Five-seat tanking. Could be Cold 4 City. Oh. Should have continued watching current programming, I guess. Now we'll never know what happened. In the bet check, half pot. I believe we'll start out with a third on ace jack 8. A little bit different than the earlier 4-bet pot with king, since we flop top set at a relatively high SPR. Over here, villain bet flop small, and turn is an ace, and now they're overbetting. I have the king of hearts. I think I'm just going to call and analyze rivers accordingly. Not having a club is good. This ace and overbet tends to be overbluffed. Bada bing, bada boom. And we win versus the queen jack. No draw. Thing about the overbet on the ace there is on 4-4-5, like, I do block ace king and ace queen, which would be maybe the more likely big bets with ace x. So I'm not even sure that they bet like ace king or ace queen that big on the turn. So they're polarizing to something that is beating ace x, and the flop was 4-4-5, and they open from under the gun. So I mean, it's just hard for them to have a lot or enough value. You know, ace 4 is the only 4 they'll have. Ace 4 suited, they have 2 combos of that, then 3 combos of 5s. So that's 5 combos. Maybe they overbet with aces full. I find it a little unlikely, but even so, that's 8 combos. And you can see, you know, they have 8 combos of actually strong value, and they don't need to have many combos of squadouche to call there with the nut no pair. King queen is effectively, you know, it's effectively a pair. And it's really effectively a pair when villain is polarizing in the way that they did. with all of that said, betting the river would have been a time. Well, can't switch over fast enough. Everybody's clicking their buttons real fast. This game looks like it's gonna break up. What are the odds they play one hand and then sit out? 10,000 to 1. Ooh, look at them go. I think if I'm going to target a hand of fold, it's probably like king high. And maybe king high can call one bet. I guess I would like to see them go for it though. Meant to go 4x, but non-factor. And we will defend the king and the 8. Because it's great. No back doors, we'll fold. Big flip over here. And let's toggle back and forth. We have the king 10, mid pair there. And we got 3-bet here. So, and we're just going to fold second pair. And over here, we're going to call. It's a good flop. If there are flops without a 7 in it, this is a good one. I'm suspicious that this villain might be fishy, but we shall call. I think on the 4-liner, probably just going to be betting. I think they don't have 7x. I think they check back a lot of their overpairs. So. We 3-bet over here with the king 9 and bet half. On the ace, I think I checked this card a ton. And we flop this out with our 9s. And I think on the 10, we pretty much checked that card a ton too. Alas. Single raise pot over here with the flush draw. Flush completer on this board again. We'll try going the overbet route with the flush once villain checks back. We opened 4x over here. We'll bet small. I believe. Both of my games are breaking up at the same time. Over here, bet flop, bet turn. I think we just have to bet the 10 on the river. It's not the greatest one to bet, but it's not the greatest because it improves their top pair, obviously. Their second pair, if they called bet, technically improves that, but I do think we will get some folds, which we did. deuce, turning a king. We're going to be checking behind. The 8 is not great. And our hand is good enough to check behind. Oops. We filled up. Over here, we're down to 3. Thought I was going to have to get 2 new tables. King would be interesting for them to bet because, yeah, a lot of their king high bets would be a little sus if they bet the king. Basically, they're saying that it gives them 2 pair, and well, 2 pair is hard to have. What in the absolute hell? Don't know what this is, but I'll fold. Not sure what's going on at this table. They're trying to claim some kind of misclick. Some shenanigans. I think that on this ace-high board, I'm going to block 5-7, so I block some of their straight draw continues. I think I'm just going to size up and one and done it here out of position. Over here. Top pair, top kicker with backdoor flush draw versus villain that just bet raised to 359 or 329 pre or whatever that was. It was a big number. I'm gonna check to them. I think they're claiming misclick on the big bet. They seem fairly reggy. Now our hand technically improves to a, well, it doesn't technically improve, but it does improve. Then trips after they check behind the turn. I think if they had, I think I'm just, we'll just go polar here and overbet. We do have a pretty good hand. Possible that they could check back like 6-7 on the flush completer, although it seems less likely than normal. I would if they jammed, it would be weird because, I mean, maybe they check back 4s or 5s, but most likely, I think their most likely hand would be some sort of blockers to boats. And 7-8 suited shall be called. small bet with top pair and backdoor flush draw. I would be continuing with most backdoor flush draws. I mean, most hands facing small. I think the ace is clearly not the greatest of cards, but we have a fair amount of ace-x in our range. I don't know that villain bets the ace at a high frequency. I'm probably more afraid of their check than a bet. And then there they go. It doesn't matter because the river's going to be a 7. So, come on, poker gods. Just one time. I do wonder, like, I think we can bluff here. They're 7. It's hard to have natural bluffs here. We have boats. They could be value betting. They fold. Do they fold an ace? Can we just call? I am all over the map here on this run out. Just go. We'll go all in. Yeesh. And we'll rebuy. Woohoo! For the viewers at home, baby. I need to go to the restroom now. 2 hours in. Pretty exciting stuff. We've made some good hands, but haven't gotten much action. We're winning 1,000. We are being red line warriors today. I will be right back. This is Bovada. Got the engraving on the felt. Ace 10 here. I think we'll start by betting. I don't expect to get check raised that often. Quite rare on this board. I expect villain to check call a decent amount with a bunch of different gut shots. Now that we have an ace with the board kicker, we're gonna check back. Queen. We block king 10, so if villain checks, probably betting. Probably betting big. We have queens at table number 2. Over here we bet, and villain called on the button, king high board. We're gonna check. Facing overbet here, bet check overbet. I mean, most likely just gonna be flicking the call. Over here with the queens facing a big bet, we'll start by check calling. And we win. Hooray. I think I folded this depth. Would have been a clear 3-bet. Ace queen suited, I would cold 4-bet, but the offsuit variety at 150 bigs. Yeah, just not gonna do it. A9 off. Fold. They folded on the 8-10. Start with the third. On 8-5 deuce. We'll see what happens on turns. Overcards will probably barrel. I don't think the 4 is a great one to barrel on. We do block ace tray. 6-7 may raise some. Yeah, that makes it easy. Over here we open for X and checked. This is half pot, so we will call. turn over bets in the streets. I think sevens can go either way, but I'm gonna bet it's the rare hand that needs a little bit of, you know, that protection business, equity denial. Most hands have significant amount of equity against sevens. Queen jack not good enough here to stab. Facing flop check. Ace not the greatest of turns. Not the turn I was looking for. Now we check behind and hope to think. Facing the one bet here, I can't fold a queen. Hand is just too good, even though I think they do have an ace at a fairly high frequency. If one were to fold queen, one would be folding everything but an ace. Folding everything but an ace is not good. You need to have some defense, and, you know, they will show up with some bluffs there. So, all hope is not lost. We've got a... Right? Oh no. We're at another table, but now they're both coming up this one. I'm gonna jet out of this table. We have a situation. Come on. There we go. Queen jack 10, called him in. Had queen 10, flop check through. But we bet turn, everybody folded. Nines will be calling a 3-bet from either opponent. 863 with an overpair is gonna be good enough to bet. I think I'm gonna size up with this overpair. On the 8, we're gonna check back. Not a hand that we can go 3 streets. The ace isn't really scary. Don't love blocking, like, that doesn't matter. Don't love blocking 4-5. Don't like blocking 7-9. I don't like blocking 7-9, but we don't block 4-5 is what I'm trying to say. So we pretty much have to call the river. Where again? Actually, you can move you over. We're winning around 1,000 again. Okay. Not sure of the action in this hand. Maybe min raise, bet. It was, in fact, min raise, bet. Jack deuce, a little loose. Ace 4 will be a 3-bet. Or just an open. Blind versus blind. Cold call the 3-bet in the big blind. A 5K stack. That's abnormal. This 4-bet is just going to be quite strong, I believe. So we get out of the way. Snap call of the 4-bet from the big blind and then half pot donk on king, queen, queen. That seems question and then fold. What just happened? What just happened? Well, we have a chance to 5 pull up. Game looks good. Hey Paul, thank you on the. You said it was a great bluff on the 3-3 7 ace queen. We check the turn. We have pulled the trigger on flush completed rivers the same way. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I get scared that they won't fold the flush, but when I think I have a fair amount of like trays, you know, I guess ace tray in my range and then sevens that I could, like pocket sevens that are boats. They have fewer nutted hands to call me with, or very strong hands. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure. I wasn't even especially sure about ripping on the river until the last moment. Boy, oh boy. I'm beginning to think in that 4-bet pot, these guys knew something that I don't. We got a live one. Live one here. Those of you watching this haven't checked out Chasing Poker Greatness podcast, have a special episode on Tuesdays, Tactical Tuesday, with my co-host John. Check it out. It's been said that the strategy in Tactical Tuesday is pretty good. Pretty good. Gotta make sure I got full stack over there. The 4s we can. We have this 400. I'm just gonna get in there. Just gonna get in there versus this $401 stack. Probably gonna be a wreck. Jack 3. Conundrum with 4s. Probably betting half. Yeah, betting half and then hoping for some folds. The 5 seed is like the primary target there. I think the 5 seed could be checking range. You know, combined, they have like a decent amount of equity apiece, even with just overcards. So. Dean asks if I can look at their hands tomorrow and see what the big blind donked for you. Dean, I'll do you one better. I will let you know what they donked in the webinar on Monday. Monday. 8, 9, 10 is a pretty good flop. I think I'm just going to start out bigger on this board with the nuts, not blocking any of the pairs. Now we have a good hand, an even better hand. Well, kind of. This, I think half pot will get stacks in. Yeah, just in case. Just in case they ever have a bluff, which we know they don't, but we're going to call anyway. Over here, we have ace-8. We raise pre, check back flop, and call half-pot turn. And we'll call half-pot river. The 10-7-0. Oh. With the 1 seed in here, probably just raising my open to 3 big blinds. May start testing 4 or 5 big blinds. This is not like a lovely situation, facing this big 3-bet. I think I'm just going to fold. I don't love folding, but I think the 3 seed is going to be fairly tight there, squeezing, versus the 1 seed who they know is just never going to fold. I mean, they could have jacks and 10s that we're flipping against, you know, that we have a decent amount of equity, but I think that we're just going to be dominated too much. They just rip on ace, king, 10, rainbow. Ace, queen versus 10, deuce. Okay. Over here we have 10s. And over here we have an 8 and a 3 that we're definitely getting in there with now. We folded the jack deuce earlier, but we did not know what was going on. Let's see what happens. Silly me. Silly me. I think facing the 10. Facing the 10 and it being this villain, like just calling so that I can make it to river node where I can bet. Also an 8 or a tray is most likely the best hand, getting 6 to 1. So just not really, not going to surrender the pot early unless I absolutely have to. I'm really missing that Jack Deuce suited now. I wish I could have it back. Smallest pair that I open, call raise, UDG, and live cash. I'm not sure, Paul. Maybe 6-6. Depends on the depth. Depends on the game. But generally, if I open a pocket pair and get 3-bet in live cash, depending on the depth, I'm pretty much calling most 3-bets. And this size, of course, if it's like a normal 3x 3-bet. Versus cutoff and having back doors. We're going to defend. Not the greatest of runouts. Possible that we could check raise here with the queen. Probably can just call this stop and go over bet. They have a straight. Over here I open 4x. I'm raising my open size. Checking back with ace high. I think it can just be the best hand. And we'll call a bet facing this villain. And we'll once again go to 40. Yeah, they definitely knew something I didn't know with the ace-4. Checking here. I would be betting with the 1 seat involved. Probably going to lower my multi-way betting thresholds with the 1 seat specifically, but we got nothing, so we gotta fold. Here I can open a little smaller with the 1 seat in position. Don't want to open too big to get, a really giant squeeze facing, relatively normal squeezes. We'll call the 7-5 and take it 3 ways versus this button. And we call. Oh. We have a flush draw now. 3-4. 3-4. And the river. 3-4. Probably 300. 3-4, 3-4 half. on 4-liner facing this guy, like whatever. We will call and reload. Just call and load versus somebody playing 80/30. I mean, thank goodness we faded the flush on the river. That flush would have been whee-wee. Not great. Not the flush I wanted to hit. It's a somewhat bottom of range defend. Almost just want to fold to get involved. Fold, let's play the next hand. Let's get the 1 seed in there. I would say relatively decent flop over here. That would be the nuts, as they say. And we're going to check raise quite big. Boo. Baramia. We called small bet over here, turn to flush draw, villain bet half pot. We call the turn, and now we've river to queen. Yeah. Not much else to say. Fold to a bet if villain does make a wager, I think. Yeah. Ace, queen. I actually think I'm going to start by betting here. We have a king, a jack that we can continue barreling on. And getting 3-1, facing flop check raise. We'll probably just peel. I think their value range is like 9-10. They could have like jack 10 that they check raise check with, but I think ace queen just is like the best hand quite often. The 8 completes the straight. They block. I think I'm just going to go for this again, too. There we go. My chips. And they got the induction on the 7. Gonna run to the restroom once again. Ooh. All the money they wager. 3,255. I think either way, I just want them to fold. I don't want them to call and win. I don't want them to call and lose. Just want them to call and just want them to fold. Jack's here. 3-bet versus cutoff. Villain 4 bets. We will rip. And we got 8s at the other table. Degree all in moment over here. Ray for flips. Over here, this has to be a strong 3-bet. Definitely peeling with 8s there. Just think this villain is likely under 3-betting facing my 5x open, and we're gonna fold to that. Especially with the 1 seed in there, like they're should be playing pretty snug. All right, I'm gonna run to the bathroom.
It'll be 1 minute.
All right. Have to mute my microphone for a moment. All right, so the deuce straight off. I will not be folding to a min open from the 1 seat. I want to be in there battling against them. I'll take my chances, even with the deuce and a tray. Yeah, just they're a live wire, and it's a free for all right now. All these villains are all hungry for the same human. Why such a big bet on the flop straight? If you go back and look at the hand, the SPR was such that in order for the money to go in, I needed to start by betting big on the flop. So basically on 8, 9, 10, where I don't block any of the pairs and villain is a weaker player. Yeah, just don't want to rely on them having to raise for me to get the money in. I just want to start by sizing up 70% on that board. They have lots of pairs. Like, we don't block any of the pairs, which is quite nice. It's the good thing about flopping straights. Consider 3-betting the king queen. I think the 1 seat is still going to get in there if they feel so inclined to call. But we opted for the check. Or the call, rather. Call can't be the worst. Yeah, even as much as I want to battle on a 4-liner 4 ways, king high is just not going to be good enough. This is like, we're going into the streets now. Going into all the streets, not a thing that like I would ever do unless it were a very, very specific situation, like having this guy in the pot who's doing all the things. Plus, I think the 3 seed is ISOing the 1 seed quite wide. Or most likely ISOing them wide. So, and they just have ace king. They had 4-5 off. Oh, we were battling. Oh boy. Yeah, they played their ace 10 better than me. They called the 2 pair. Oh, God, they're just overbetting the flop. That means bad news. They're probably going to overbet the turn. Oh. Woo, woo, woo. not in the greatest of positions. I think I may limp. May limp and go for back raise. Seems to make sense versus this villain if I can have a hand. We're opening about 50%, playing 83%. Being right here is just like super annoying. Well, here we go again. All right. The one seed has bested my deuce tray off. Yeah, like this villain being on the left, just doing everything they're supposed to do. And now they're playing every hand. Nothing going on at the other table now. Thus far in this session, we are plus about 1900. We want to flip. And we bluffed a lot, I believe is the heart of things. I will never fold the threes unless this guy three bets. Ah! The only path to me folding the trays is that exact one. Raise, re-raise. Because the action's still open. From the 16-5. I guess the final nail would be a tray on the flop. Have to imagine the 16-5 here betting like 20% has strong hand. Maybe ace king would be ace king probably is not a bet, so it's like ace queen plus. Jack may not be a great card for them. I mean, it's a card they're probably going to check. Maybe the worst card for them, besides a king and a 10. Three betting the ace deuce over here. Back to normal land. Fold. Come on, normal land. Back to fantasy land. The 5x open. I think that's bad news. Ooh. Let me guess, the 2 seats all in. Well, the fact that they're not acting quickly is interesting. Maybe they have like ace 10? 2 nines? Considering turning it into a bluff. Maybe they have aces. Doubt they have aces. Wouldn't check back to flop. Probably like nines. Wondering if they should check or jam. We're just gonna leave table number 2, and I think we're just gonna continue the stream for a little bit. Yeah, maybe limping was preferable. Oh. 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 That's a good board. Best of luck, ladies and gents. I mean, good news is if we double up, we have some money to battle. And if we gotta reload, we gotta reload. No big deal. Still at 1,000. Fold versus the big bet. Probably call versus small bet. We don't know what to do with ourselves when the 1 seat folds. everything's loosened up now. So just calling with queen jack off. Normally this is a fold and checking back. Double gutter. Yeah, we're up a couple thousand. Shoot aquatic. Get the bonus time during the live stream this month. Oh boy. Bonus time might be over 4 minutes later. Checking on ace high. Probably bad news for the 1 seat. This is bad news, I think. I think this is it. The degree all-in moment we've been waiting for. No. They jammed. What a mistake. $1,000 mistake there. Not letting the guy put it all in. Can you hear my jealous bitterness? I can. Be very strange of the 3-seat bet here. I can imagine them checking back like any good hand, any good draw when battling against the 1 seat. Would be very odd. We win. Yeah, it's 80. It's 80% VPIP. Pip. Antoine. Just a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Betting bottom pair here to check back turn. I think the 3 seed generally just bets their stronger hands. Trying to get heads up with a 1. Call, then half pot donk. Could be... Okay, I guess we get to call. Oh boy. Just all these cards. I don't know. Bottom pair. Bottom pair good? Bottom pair good. With a villain as volatile as this, like, I just don't really find myself folding many pairs. Even though they, it's a board that has, like, a bunch of hands that can be better. Okay, so our plan here, let's go for it with the ace queen. Snap fold. He's playing deuce 5 off. The deuce 5 off, and now we have a snap fold. Oh god, now we've got ourselves in a sitch. Got ourselves in a situation. Facing a 4th, pretty easy call. Oh, baby doll. Wow. What a turn. They're not going to see this one coming. They may overbet the turn. I think that given the board, given the fact that I limp called pre, sets up a really good bluffing situation for them. I think that, oof. Yeah, I think we just jam. Jam versus their 2 pair, their sets. Again, it's really hard for us to have a good hand there. Pretty unfortunate that they didn't put more money in the pot. I'm actually just shocked that they didn't put more money in the pot there. That's shocking. No, Stu, this is purely for out of the kindness of my heart. We're going over time, I will actually call a small bet here, like a quarter, which I think is like their general bet size. All right, I think one more orbit, and we'll shut it down and move on to the review on Monday. Even though the 1 seat, they're battling, but it's dinner time. I'm hungry. And they lost their money. Not all of it, but a lot of it. Thank you for watching along. I appreciate your time, your energy, your attention. Glad to have you. On Monday, me and CBG Private Coach Shu going to do a webinar breaking down all the hands played during this session. So check it out, Monday 5 p.m. EST for poker coaching subscribers only. Jack 7. If I have a chance to call, I can call. I will call. Whatever I gotta do to get in there with the 1. We will do whatever we can do. Oh no. Oh no. That is the VPIP. That is the 85 number is their VPIP, Antoine. as I said, thank you all for hanging out. Appreciate your time. Appreciate your energy. I'll see you on Monday and next month for the September stream. Same bat time, same bat channel. Going from top left to right, it's VPIP, PFR, 3-bet, fold to 3-bet, C-bet, and fold to C-bet are the values there. And the blue is the number of hands in the top right. That is correct, Antoine. I only have 381. I should be opening to 50 now. Well, look at us go. We did it. We did it. And we got him. What a way to end the stream. I love it when a plan comes together. Thank you, everybody, for watching the stream. Just, yeah, won about 3K. Good stuff. Y'all have a great rest of your weekend. I will catch you on Monday at CPG Podcast on Twitter, Chasing Poker Greatness Podcast.